One day, Mary's bag with the mobile phone was stolen. Financially, it was a small loss, but along with the phone, the girl lost all the phone numbers of her friends, colleagues, and relatives. Mary turned to her operator, ordered a printout of calls for the last month, and received a list of phone numbers without names. The girl began to call each of them, but for some reason she was embarrassed to say directly what was the matter, and therefore she began a normal conversation in order to understand in the process who exactly picked up the phone. For the fifth or sixth time, in response to a careful hello, Mary heard a hoarse female voice, which she did not immediately recognize. "Good afternoon, it's me." The girl spoke quickly, hoping that the interlocutor would say something else, and she could be recognized. "Mary?" Surprised and delighted, it sounded in her ear. "My God, how glad I am! We haven't spoken for what seems like 100 years." The girl mentally went over her acquaintances and realized that the voice could only belong to the secretary of her boss, Mrs. Hurst, with whom Mary somehow called up to transfer important documents. She was an older woman who looked down on lower-level employees and only interacted nicely with those who got promoted. Mrs. Hurst went on speaking in her hoarse voice and how glad she was to hear from Mary, and asked the girl how she was doing. Stunned, she answered indifferently, wondering what could make the secretary chat pleasantly about trifles. And suddenly it dawned on Mary. Well, of course, they want to offer her a new position, and probably very good if the gloomy lady suddenly became so friendly. The girl was distracted for a while, dreaming of a raise and higher pay, when she suddenly realized that Mrs. Hurst was offering to meet her in a cafe and have a little chat. It was incredible. However, Mary decided that a friendly relationship with the boss's secretary would benefit her, and readily agreed. When the woman asked if Mary had any urgent business, she hastily replied that she was completely free, and the meeting was scheduled for the same evening. In high spirits, the girl ran into the cafe, shook off snowflakes from her beret, and began to look around, looking for her companion. A woman who was sitting at a table by the window, wrapped in a fluffy scarf, raised her hand to attract her attention. But it wasn't Mrs. Hurst. Mary recognized her mom. Not understanding anything, the girl came closer and silently sat down at the table. "How glad I am that you called me," the mother spoke hoarsely. "I'm sorry I had a cold, but I couldn't miss the opportunity to see you. You're always so busy. Tell me, how are you?" While Mary looked into her mother's eyes, shining with happiness, and answered her questions in confusion, she burned with shame. The girl remembered that she had not spoken to her parents for several months, so she did not even recognize her mother's cold voice. They haven't seen each other in almost a year. Although her parents periodically asked her to meet, Mary always had some important things to do. Too often, we do not find time for those who are truly important to us, although we willingly exchange it for trifles. But can a career, money, or vacation be more important than loved ones? This is a dead-end lifestyle.